Hello and welcome to another Retro News Roundup, and to start this month, Bitmap Books are back with a Kickstarter for a new and improved second edition of its existing publication, Commodore 64, a visual Commpendium. It'll double the page count of the original version, but there are options to have the fresh content all in one volume if you already own the first iteration of the book. It's already been successfully funded, but there are still 2 weeks to book your own copy when it's released. Second, video footage of the cancelled Game Boy Color version of Rare's Jet Force Gemini has appeared online for the first time. Screenshots were released way back in 2010, but this is the first we've ever seen of it in action. There was no other information released alongside the video sadly, but hopefully this means a playable ROM of the title, even if it's an unfinished version, will arrive sooner rather than later. Next, details for the Sensible World of Soccer World Cup 2016 have been announced. As its name would suggest, it's a tournament where people compete against one another on the PC and Amiga versions of Sensible World of Soccer, with the event being held in the Netherlands this year. If you want to compete, you can find more details on the German Sensible Soccer forum, which you can find a link to in this video's description. And to round off this section, Jon Romero made a new level of Doom and released it for free online. The Wii U received only a handful of retro releases this month, but it was certainly a case of quality over quantity. They included Game Boy Advance titles Drill Dozer, Mega Man Battle Network 6, Cybeast Falzar / Grigar, and Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. And finally there was the N64's Mario Kart 64. The 3DS's eShop got nothing in comparison, although Sega 3D Classics Collection was announced for the handheld, which contains 8 games including Power Drift, Sonic the Hedgehog and Altered Beast. It'll be released on the 26th of April. It was much busier on the PlayStation Network, with the most notable retro offering being a HD remaster of the GameCube title Resident Evil 0, made available through the service for both PS3 and PS4 owners. The PlayStation 4 also received another batch of Arcade Archive releases, this time Crazy Climber 2, Super Dodgeball and Ninja Kid 2. It also got re-releases of several PlayStation 2 games, including Dark Chronicle and a trio of creaky Star Wars titles, Bounty Hunter, Jedi Starfighter and Racer Revenge. And to finish off these Sony-related retro offerings, the PS Vita finally got Oddworld New and Tasty, which is a fantastic remake of the PlayStation 1 game Abe's Odyssey. Moving on to retro on mobile, 90s adventure I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream was released on both iOS and Android devices. Square Enix also announced that Final Fantasy IX will be arriving on those same formats soon, and on a related RPG note, a remake of Ys Chronicles 2 will be doing the same. We do have a release date for the latter though, the 10th of February. Finally, to celebrate its 25th anniversary, Revolution Software is going to release a special edition box set of its greatest hits, including Beneath a Steel Sky and Shadow of the Templars. It will be released on PC with a price tag of £30 and will be out on the 11th of March. Not much going on in this section this month, but a video has been released with more details on the GC Video, a device that enhances the GameCube's video and audio output to HD standard. It largely outlines the different versions of the modification that will become available, but there's no word given on when it will actually be released. Second, a company called Dexter have released SD card powered replacements for Laserdisc drives, with these being the devices that helped make titles such as Dragon's Lair and Space Ace possible. They cost $360 and perhaps aren't something many of us will be picking up anytime soon. But if nothing else, it demonstrates that there's a real passion out there in making sure older hardware isn't completely lost to the ravages of time. Not much original homebrew out this month, but there were at least a few physical releases. These include cartridges of Magic Girl and Cascade, both for the Mega Drive, although they will set you back $65 each. Then there was also Leona's Tricky Adventure on the Dreamcast, with a copy of that setting you back €30. Other than these, there were free-to-download ROMs for a handful of unreleased games made available online, including ones for Little Knight Arthur for the Commodore 64 and Fearox for the Sega Saturn. The most notable of these by far is for arcade shooter Wing Force though, with the ROM created and released by the winner of an auction for an original circuit board of the game. That may have cost him over £1,700, but he was more than happy to share the game with everyone for free. How's that for generosity? And to finish, more footage of the unofficial Mega Drive port of Gradius 2 has been put online, but there's still no word on when it'll ever be released. My guess is that we could be waiting a little while longer for this one. 4 fan translations this month, and they include Bomberman Wars for the PlayStation, Taiyu no Yusha Firebird on the NES, Demon Child Zenki Battle Raiden for the SNES, and finally the Sega Saturn's Dragon Force 2 Kamasarishi Daishi Ni. That's all for this month then, but do let me know what you make of this episode's news by leaving a comment. And please do give this video a like if you can, as well as sharing it with anyone you think would find it interesting or useful.
Don't forget that the lives of a lot of people are in our hands.